I guarantee most of you fall into this category. And don't get offended, it's just a fact. From Halloween to New Year's, you go from swiping for costumes to buying gifts that you can't afford, to waking up on January 3rd, drowning in debt. This is literally the most expensive time of the year. And if you're not careful, you'll be paying for it long after the tree comes down. You'll be paying for it beyond the ball dropping. So on today, we're actually going to talk about why this time of the year, from Halloween to New Year's, is super expensive, and it's the time where most people will get into the most debt, and how you can make sure that this year is different for you. I'm going to break down the emotional traps, the financial triggers, and the simple systems that can help you start the new year in control versus collections in control of your finances. So I love the holidays, but I hate what it does to me. I hate how it made me feel in the past. It basically became the season of debt traps for me. And that was the frustrating part. And you may be wondering how or what I mean by this. So we're going to dive right into this because I want to hopefully help you to not have the same emotions or feelings. And I want to help you to stay out of debt this year. So let's break down the holiday seasons, because I think most people, they just consider Christmas, but it's not just Christmas. The debt, it actually starts way earlier than that. Halloween just passed a few days ago. And I want you to think about this. If you're single, or if it's just you and a significant other, I'm sure you guys were invited to a few Halloween parties. There's the pre-Halloween party. There's the actual Halloween party that actually happens on the 31st. And there's just other random parties. And I'm willing to bet most of you probably had different costumes for each party. Now, adult costumes, they typically cost anywhere from $50 to $150 each. So that's anywhere from $100 to $600, depending on the price, and if you're single or a couple, that you're going to spend on just costumes. Then there's the candy, there's decorations, and there's food and drinks if you're the one that's actually hosting the party. All right. That's anywhere from an extra $100 to $500. And it can honestly be more expensive if you're trying to impress people and you want to throw a big party. It can get out of hand quickly. Now, if you have kids, it can be more of a financial cost because you actually have to purchase their Halloween costumes. You have to purchase costumes for school parties and obviously trick or treat. All right. The good thing is most kids, they're good with wearing the same costume to every event. All right. So you may only be looking at $25 to $100 or more, depending on how many kids you have. And if you're following, hopefully you see Halloween, it can add up quickly. In 2025 alone, the projected spending amount for the holidays in the US is $13 billion. So if you think about it, debt can creep up on you silently and easily. All right. Then there's Thanksgiving this month. And if you can't tell me you don't like a good meal, I can promise you, you can't tell me that you don't like a good meal. This is legit most people's favorite holiday. Literally, research shows that the best holidays ranked from best to work always start with Christmas or Thanksgiving. They're always number one and number two. So let's break this down. Have you ever noticed that most people always prepare a dinner for their own house, but they also go to friends or family houses also? Don't act like you don't do it. I know I'm not the only one that does it. That's like a tradition in America. All right. So the first thing is the food. There's the turkey, there's stuffing, there's mac and cheese, collard greens, yams, cranberry sauce. Man, I'm getting hungry just thinking about this. I literally am getting hungry right now. But then there's desserts, there's apple pies, there's sweet potato pies, there's banana pudding, and then there's all these dishes, right? There's all the basic dishes. But I've seen some spreads that are way larger than that for Thanksgiving. And all of that, it adds up quickly. And if you've ever noticed the prices of certain items, they actually always increase around this time when you go grocery shopping. Most people end up spending at least $250, and that's being generous just for one day. Then there's the travel if you're visiting family and friends. There's all the costs if you're hosting, including decorations, setup, and the additional cost of food. There's also the last minute spending because you typically will always forget about something. Literally, it always happens. You're going to forget about something. So we'll say you're going to spend at least $1,000. And again, that's being generous if you're the one that's hosting. And if you think about it, you always have this thought or this emotion of wanting to be generous. Or as I would say, you want to at least look generous for the holidays. But what happens is you end up feeling broke inside, literally. That's what it does. Then there's the big one. There's Christmas. According to globalnews.ca and deconstructstigma.org, 77% to 89% of Americans deal with anxiety from the pressures of Christmas. The feelings and emotions of doing better than last year and impressing others, it literally plays this like huge factor. The average person is expected to spend around $900 to $910 per person this year. Imagine if you come from a large family, like me. I have an extremely large family. For me, this could get out of control real quick. And it could cause major debt if I try to go in and keep up with people. If I try to go with the flow, keep up with the norms, it's going to get out of control. There's gifts, there's the dinners, there's the holiday parties, there's decorations. And like I said, that can get out of control. There's events like light shows, ice skating. There's a whole bunch of things just going on at this time of the year. With all of these things coming at you, your mindset shifts. Your mindset shifts to, I'll pay it for it next year when I get my taxes. And if you're someone who you have no discipline, then it's typically worse because you're going to keep spending. You're going to be thinking about, you're not going to be thinking at all, basically. You're just going to be seeing the last minute sales and the things, and you're just going to keep swiping your card. And you're going to do it with ease. And you're not going to consider your credit limits. You're just going to pick up another card because there's no discipline. And this is what the holidays do to people. And then there's New Year's Eve. All right. With New Year's, which to me, it doesn't just include New Year's, but it's New Year's Eve, it's New Year's Day, and it's the day after New Year's, which is typically the 2nd. What I mean by this is there's the cost of your New Year's Eve outfit. There's the cost of travel. There's the cost of parties. There's the cost of plans, etc. There's the cost of everything. But even after that, it doesn't stop there. Because on January 1st and 2nd, everything goes on sale. And what happens in our mindset when we see a sale? Your mind tells you that you can't miss this deal. That it's a deal that if you don't get it right now, you're never going to catch it again. Literally, your heart is completely deceiving you. Then you make this proclamation that New Year's, new me. Not realizing that nothing has changed because your goals are funded by more spending. Literally, the average American adds about $1,500 plus in new debt during the holidays. And that's on the low end. And here's the thing. Most of it, it's not going to be paid off until next summer. You're literally going to carry your debt for 6 whole months. So that's interest just piling up. That's interest just adding up. And you're not concerned about it. At least at the moment, when you're swiping the card, you're not considering it. You're not concerned about it. You're not worried about it. You're just worried about making sure you please everybody. So I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. But I'm sharing all of this because debt during the holidays isn't just financial. It's actually emotional. There are multiple triggers that come up, and I want you to realize and know what those triggers are. So the first trigger is guilt. You feel bad for not buying gifts, especially if you have kids. If you're a parent, your heart literally aches. You're breaking internally because the desire to place a smile on your kid's face. Literally, I can tell you that I've been crushed when I wasn't able to do stuff for my kids in the past. And because of this crushed feeling inside, you have to go over and beyond when you can. So you're literally consumed with guilt to make sure that you do whatever it takes for your kids, even if that means going into debt. Next, there's pressure. Your family expects something from you. Your friends expect something from you. Your job does Secret Santa, and you can't let them know that you're not financially able. So you gotta do something. So the pressure, it just adds on. There's the pressure to be good. There's the pressure to be seen. There's the pressure to fit in. And after pressure, there's comparison, right? You're watching everyone else post everything perfectly, right? Everyone posted the perfect pictures of trees, decorations. They also post the pictures of the big piles at a certain angle, right? It's always at the certain angle that looks like, oh my gosh. So what happens then? You personally, you feel like you got to match it. You can't not do for your family and friends. Everybody else is doing for theirs. So you got to match them. Not realizing that you're just trying to keep up with people that you can't keep up with. You don't know what they did to get there. And you don't know if they're basically going into debt too. Stop following and trying to keep up with people. Don't try to compare to anybody. All right? Finally, there's escapism. All right? You literally use shopping to cope with seasonal depression. Use shopping because of the past childhood memories. You got to make up for what you didn't do or get when you were a kid. Use shopping for family drama, for loneliness. It's it's literally emotional spending wrapped in a box with a bow on it. And the cost, it's way higher than you think. Like the cost is ridiculous. The cost is a whole year of being in a trap. The cost is a whole year of being stuck. The cost is going to last longer than the day. That day will come and go, and you will still be dealing with the cost. But this is the thing. You can avoid holiday debt this year if you get disciplined. I'm telling you. The first thing you need to do to get disciplined is create a holiday spending cap. Create it right now. Look at your actual income, your bills, and your goals. Now decide, what can you actually afford? Not what you wish you could, right? Don't think about what you wish you could right now, because you're not there. We're not operating in wishes this year. I don't want you to operate in wishes anymore. You'll get there someday, but you're not there yet. If it's not in your budget, it's not going in the bag. Don't put it in the phone bag. Don't put it in the actual bag. Don't put it in the shopping cart. If it's not in the budget, you're not bringing it home with you. You're not putting it in the bag. You're not putting it in the car. All right? So put together the list. The second thing, what you need to do is you need to use cash. Use cash or debit only. Leave the credit cards at home. I don't want you to think about them. Don't use them. It's not a part of your budget, right? Credit cards are credit. It's not actual money that you actually have in your possession. So we're not using credit cards this year. Leave them at home. I've literally had some of my students cut up their credit cards, if that's what's going to help them keep them disciplined. And I would tell you to do the same thing. Do it if you need to. The reason why you need to do that is because when the actual money runs out, you actually will need to stop shopping. And you will stop shopping if there is no credit cards for you to use. So if you have to, cut the credit cards up, but understand the credit cards, they're not a part of it. It's either cash or debt or debit, not debt, debit. I think I said debt, but I didn't mean to say debt. I meant to say debit, all right? So cash or debit. The third thing, make a gift list and then stick to it. If you're buying for 15 people, maybe you need to cut it to 7 or 10 people. Maybe you can bake something. Maybe you can write a letter or purchase cards and write something meaningful from the heart in them. Understand this. Love, it isn't measured in gift wrap. Love is from the heart. And that's what matters the most. All right. So don't be worried and don't be ashamed of not being able to make these extravagant purchases. If somebody truly loves you, they're going to know that this gift from you is coming from the heart. The next thing, or the fourth thing, is to basically skip the sales traps. What I mean by that? Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the day after New Year's, they aren't holidays. They're just traps. And most people, they buy things that they didn't plan for, all because of some so-called sale. You buy things because of this sale. This year, I need you not to get into this trap. I need you to get disciplined. I know you've heard of this rat race thing, right? Following this system I'm telling you, it's going to help you to get out of it, and it's going to keep you out of it. The fifth thing, plan your holiday meals. Plan them now. Don't overspend on food at the last minute. And something that you should seriously consider doing is probably do a potluck style meal, right? This way, the whole family, everyone gets to share on the load. They all get to help out. It's not just on one person or one household. Also, write up an exact menu so that you can budget the feast, right? If I got this exact menu, I don't need that. That's not on the menu. I don't need cornbread if I'm doing Hawaiian rolls. If it's not on the menu, then I don't need it. And then the sixth and the final step is basically say no with love. You do not have to go to every party. You don't have to buy for every person. People are going to understand. And if they don't, then you learn something new about them. And now you have another choice you have to make on a whole different scale. Do you keep that person in your life or not? But I'll be honest, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. What I want you to do is I want you to learn and prepare to protect your peace. I want you to protect your pockets this year. Because I can tell you this, and I'll ask you it. I won't tell you, I'll ask you it. Do you think that debt cares about your holidays? It doesn't. It doesn't care about your intentions. It just shows up and then it stays. But now, like right now, you're equipped. You're wiser. This year, your mindset's different. You're not just chasing tradition. What you're chasing this year is transformation. Being generous doesn't mean being irresponsible. And being debt-free doesn't mean being heartless. A lot of people feel like you're heartless because you're not spending a bunch of money on them. Whatever. That's not what being debt-free means. All right? What it means is you love your future too much to sabotage it for one season. I can promise you, there's going to be seasons in your life when you're going to be able to be overly generous. This just may not be that season for you. It may not. This may be the season when you're trying to be disciplined starting now, not January 3rd. So if you're committed to breaking this cycle this year, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to comment below. I want you to comment below that you're staying debt-free this holiday. Then we're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to hold each other to this. And I want you to make sure that you like this video, right? like this video because hopefully it helped you shift your mindset. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell also, because we're definitely dropping more content on budgeting, debt freedom, and how to build a better life, starting with discipline. All right, later.